Lee Hackett got all the all-important top place points, so a great showing by all three there. Clearly Lewis Manley did everything he could in that one and got the best result possible in the situation. Next up though is round 4, heat 10. Now this is important because it's the last race, the final race in the final round of heats. This is the last bit of scoring. Now obviously everyone's driven already in all 4 heats except for these guys who are out now, but those who are on the bubble maybe for the making it into the semi-finals will be taking an interest in this race, because how this race results could mean whether their British Championship is over already or whether it's going to continue on. In this race here, I mean, there is Andrew Duff. Looking back, that's Jim Lovell there in the green, white and red helmet, and behind him it looked like it was Christophe Verhoeven. So in this, yeah, there's Verhoeven in the yellow topped helmet. There's Matej Vrana. We've seen some real strong shows from Matej Vrana this weekend. Rob Duma, another of the Polish drivers, he used to race Speedway, and behind him is Sean Brierley, and then bringing up the rear there it looks like Derek Jones there. So Sean Brierley in the 8 with the yellowy helmet, and there's Derek Jones at the back. So just running through the list of entries in this race here: Rob Duma, Christophe Verhoeven, Kyle Power, Andrew Duff, Jim Lovell, Derek Jones, Steve Gray is out in this one, and as well as Steve Gray, Opnithi Puyato, Matej Vrana and Sean Brierley. So a real strong entry in this, the final heat race. Now this could actually affect who does or does not go into the semi-final, and not just affect the possibilities of those who are in this race. There could be people watching here with a very strong eye and a serious vested interest in the outcome of this race, Spanners. It's far from over yet.
Far from over. Kyle Powers starting from a cold cart though. He's swapped. He's giving me excuses already. He's saying that that's the reason for his future predicted failure. But yeah, obviously there are still lots of things on the line. Still recovering from that last race really, because Manley's just got the bit between his teeth, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. I mean, what is it? 3 wins and a third. That's a very strong
show. I think I got that wrong, so it might be second.
Oh, hang on. Yeah, actually, you're right.
But I think he might still be leading the points table at the end of the heats.
Okay, what, even more so than Ruben Boutons? And, well, yeah, we'll have to see how it is. And, of course, this race will have a bearing on that. There's people who are in the semi-final right now who aren't even taking part in this race, who may find themselves pushed out. As I was saying, look at this list here, Spanners.
I will.
We've got Rob Duma, Christophe Verhoeven, Kyle Power, Andrew Duff, Jim Lovell, Derek Jones, Steve Gray, Puyato, Vrana, Brierley. Strong entry, strong entry.
Certainly is, yeah. Who are you going to pick out of that? Verhoeven? Obviously Sean Brierley, Vrana.
Yeah, there's maybe 5 there who realistically could be on that top step.
Steve Gray's going to be lurking, isn't he? That's what he's going to play in this, a lurking role.
Yeah, now Steve Gray and Adam Davis have both had the best overall performance in the championship that they've had before. Yeah, they've had some strong results, but this overall, race by race, you know, across the whole weekend, has been better than ever before. Do we think either of them are actually in a position to make the semi-final?
I think Steve Gray has to win this race to stand a chance.
So if Steve Gray was to win, it's possible. Okay then, so we'll see what happens there. They're out to qualify, they're on their warm-up lap, and crossing the line. Steve Gray is the first one through to actually attempt a qualifying run. That hunched up style of Steve Gray, he's in the snail section as we speak, and they're crossing the line. There's Duma crossing the line. Here comes Sean Brierley to begin his qualifier, and Kyle Power. They're going to be bringing out, there's Derek Jones now. After this, they'll be bringing out the checkered flag, and we'll get the results as they come in. Well, first one, of course, was Steve Gray, so he's going to set the kind of opening benchmark. Is Puyato behind him, who's looking very quick indeed. Gray fastest. Puyato fastest. Andrew Duff to second. Jim Lovell to second. Christophe Verhoeven to second. Matej Vrana to first. Duma to second. Sean Brierley to first. Kyle Power to 9th. And Derek Jones to 9th. So Kyle Power's been pushed last, but Sean Brierley will start from the front here from Matej Vrana. Rob Duma. Now, Rob Duma, that's a great performance there. The ex-Speedway rider, we've seen him do well, and we've actually seen him win, but behind him is Opnithi Puyato and also Christophe Verhoeven. So a great showing there by Rob Duma. It's Jim Lovell who's going to start in 6th place out of Andrew Duff, Steve Gray, Derek Jones and Kyle Power. But look at this, Spanners. The whole grid to 10th place purely 0.7 of a second. That's potentially the tightest we've seen for a while.
Yeah, then that's not all is lost, though, I don't think, for Kyle Power. As far as points go, he has got his team down there, Arno and Chris, who will be helping him to pick out the best possible time to come and pit. He is in a cold cart, so you think the tactic will be warm it up as much as you can and then maybe get out of that traffic. Steve Gray might be struggling now to get a semi-final spot. He had to finish first or second to stand a chance.
Yeah, if we're working on that basis, Steve Gray has an awful lot of work to do there down in 8th place. We're looking at a close-up on somebody doing something strange with the phone, and so whatever all that's about, he's going to be quite surprised. Clearly one of the team members who's going to be kind of advising from the trackside various others and kind of having fun with the mobile phone. Yeah, he's being caught out. Or was it one of the camera crew? Anyhow, here comes Sean Brierley. Sean Brierley is leading the way to take the start. Matej Vrana is right with him. He's intending to stay on the bumper of Brierley. Brierley's pulled the pin already. Brierley shoots off in what's the closest you can get to a clean start. Brierley has got the biggest lead possible that he could get away with into the snail section, followed by Vrana and Duma.
All very neat and tidy through that snail section. Nobody making a lunge initially. Distinct gap down at the back there with Jones and Power, who have sort of dropped off the back of the pack at the moment, and no one's looking to make a move down the back straight at this time either.
And a vastly experienced driver internationally is Sean Brierley. He does regularly do the British Championship though, and he normally figures strongly. Hasn't actually won the title, but tries to figure as strong as he can overall, and a win now would really help his chances of getting into the final. There's Sean Brierley with the yellow and black helmet, but Matej Vrana, it's Matej Vrana who's forming that breakaway with Sean Brierley. Matej Vrana's the fastest person on the track and has Sean Brierley in his sights down the backstretch. There's Vrana all in red.
Number 19, Stephen Gray, who's having a nice long look at Andrew Duff, showing him his nose. I think that's a psychological thing more than anything, isn't it? Going down the back straight. And there is a pit, an early pit for number 15, that's Puyato, who was at the back of that pack. So, oh, and who's gone behind it? Kyle Power. Well, that's no surprise at all, because he's found himself with a cold cart stuck behind Jones right at the back of the grid. So he's going to see if he can do anything from there.
And out of sight there was a big move there by Steve Gray on Andrew Duff. He got alongside him on the snail section. There we are on camera now. There's Duff with the black helmet. There's Steve Gray in the black suit. And he's going to have a look to the outside. It's not going to happen. But if Duff runs wide, Gray could shoot up the inside. No. And there's Derek Jones behind. We're seeing there Sean Brierley in the lead from Matej Vrana, and they've got quite a lead already. It's nearly Sean Brierley for, here we've got Steve Gray.
Yeah,
Talk us through it, Spanish.
Steve Gray's had enough of sitting behind Andrew Duff. He's decided to go for it, and disaster for the Manchester boy. He's got a penalty for not going through the pits correctly, and he's going to have to come back in and do it again.
Next year, Steve Gray, next year, sir. And that is Steve Gray out of the 2019 British Rental Kart Championship. That it's a very hard deal. Now into the pits though, Christophe Verhoeven. So Christophe Verhoeven comes down the pit lane. He's going to be looking to make it clean. We can see the flash of red. Is it going to go green? Oh God, don't get tighter than that. That's and he's leapfrogged.
Puyato.
Yeah, Puyato. That's it. And let's have a look at the time there. It was a blinding pit stop. That's a 9-second stop by Verhoeven. Yeah. He could not have cut it any tighter. Steve Gray, of course, has got his penalty. It's been confirmed by the organisers. He didn't stop in time, and so he's been forced to take it again. If you mess up on the pit lane, they just make you do it all again. We're looking at Vrana there in red. He's trying to close down Sean Brierley. They've opened it up. Gosh, 3-second lead over third place Duma. Sean Brierley got the bit between his teeth. He's the fastest on the track in this race. He's got the record so far for this race on lap times, but he's not able to lose Vrana. Matej Vrana is seriously there with him. He's from Prague in the Czech Republic, is Matej Vrana. Comes over for this championship as well as all the internationals as well in the other countries. Matej Vrana into the pits though is Rob Duma. Rob Duma from third. Talk us through it, Spanish.
He's going for it, let's put it that way. He's stopped very short and he's making sure he's timed it. He's barshing it, as in his bum has not been on the seat the whole time he's been in the pit lane. He finally sits back down and he's side to side with Puyato. Puyato gets shown the outside of turn 1 and he's able to get past Puyato and slot in just behind Verhoeven.
And 10-second stop there, almost bang on 10 seconds by Rob Duma. That was crucial in him staying ahead of Puyato
yeah,
there.
it's not worked out for Puyato over the
no,
course
it
of those
hasn't,
pits,
but only because Duma did a very good job, and so did Verhoeven. Verhoeven, I think, was 9 seconds. Duma just bang on 10 seconds, and Puyato only lost out because of the brilliance of others rather than any failing of his. He'd made the right move at the right time, it's just the others out-pitted him. It's as simple as that. But Puyato, he still has a chance because he's right on the tail of Duma there and forcing him along. Opnithi Puyato, one of the Belgian drivers, working all over the back of the Polish driver Rob Duma. Rob Duma, of course, former Speedway rider. He's taking that middle line there, trying to hold Puyato off. And Christophe Verhoeven, Verhoeven there from Belgium, West Marla driver, does seem to be pulling away a little bit from Duma and Puyato behind. We can see on the suit there, Puyato, he's one of the Blue Star guys. Yeah. He's with the Blue Star 2 team, but just because he's in the Blue Star 2 team, that doesn't mean he's kind of second division. It just means he's not as unbelievably brilliant as those in the Blue Star 1 team. He still has to be absolutely fabulous to get a gig with this crew, that's for sure.
Also, Jones is pushing up to Duff. Now, Jones never sort of really scores up in bothering the top half of the championship. Always has a great time. Always the highlight, he said to me, the highlight of his year. Already looking forward to 2020 BRC.
Well, if Derek Jones is watching back on the YouTube footage, you know, obviously we're going out live now, but if he does watch back, he might want to take a photo of this where he's running 5th.
Yeah, pretty good.
Because, you know, when he pops that one up on Facebook, nobody knows that he hasn't actually made a pit stop yet, and the others behind him have. But what the hell, he's showing 5th, isn't he? So he may want to do that, Derek Jones, if he's watching the replay of this race in the heights. But look at this, Puyato, though, is all over the back of Rob Duma. Rob Duma managed to pit himself ahead, but Piato's actually trying to take it on the track now, showing why he's one of the Blue Star Racing boys. He's one of the most highly touted drivers out of Belgium at the moment, and Puyato is showing us why. He's working the Polish Speedway rider really hard there as he comes onto the backstretch. Is he going to go for it here? Is Duma going to defend it or what?
Well, he's gone to the outside there, so Duma was going defensive.
He's shot to the inside. And there he is. So it was outside, then back to the inside, sort of on the trying to make the crossover there, Spanners, but it didn't work for him, and he's actually lost a bit of time. Look at that car length lead behind.
It's an ambitious place to make a move around the outside. Even with the cutback, it very rarely pulls off. So difficult to then keep that position side by side into this hairpin, which is really the next passing opportunity.
Absolutely right there, Spanners. It's one of those things where you know it's not going to happen, but you can't not try, can you? It's almost like asking too much not to give it at least a thought.
It's like flirting with a stewardess, isn't it?
Yes,
you know it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen, but people do it, don't they? So, and as we look back there, it does seem to be queuing up a bit. Puyato has got Gray and Kyle Power now joining the mix there. So Rob Duma is ahead of Puyato, but if you look closely, there's Gray behind him. Interview now, that's Stephen Gray, and behind Steve Gray is Kyle Power. So this could actually close up there, and we may have a 4-car battle over 6th, 7th. So Sean Brierley continues to lead by 2 seconds from Matej Vrana. Jim Lovell is up to 3rd. The South Coast karting boy there, Jim Lovell, is up to 3rd place. He's yet to pit, but he's looking good in 3rd. He's only 4.6 seconds behind leader Sean Brierley, and that is saying something.
Now the camera is following Kyle Power, and I'm trying to see if I figured this out right. Is Kyle Power closing in on Gray and Puyato and Duma?
Yes, he is, because Duma is 32.7 on that last lap, and Kyle Power's 32.3.
Oh, well,
so
now he's doing well.
Now he's doing it.
Yeah, now he's doing well again. We can start describing him again as Missed Apex Podcasts Kyle Power, because he's closing in there. Get in, son.
Absolutely. Ignore the fact he's running last, those Spanners.
Well,
just
yeah,
focus on the positives.
Less last than before.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yes, his margin of last is less. But it is Matej Vrana. But I do want to show attention to Jim Lovell, who's just set the fastest lap of the race. Jim Lovell is fastest on the track there. A new lap record for this race by Jim Lovell, the South Coast karting driver, down there in 3rd place. He's in 3rd place, and he's set the fastest lap of this race, so really got the bit between his teeth. He's closing in on race leader Sean Brierley and Matej Vrana. Jim Lovell there, South Coast Karting's Jim Lovell is up into 3rd place and fastest on the track as we speak. Sean Brierley's just set a new personal best, but it's not enough to beat Lovell. Lovell continues to be the fastest on the track.
Now then, we're going to take issue with you saying that Cole Power was last, because in real terms, I think Jones and Duff will pit behind him when they finally come in.
Yes, that's right. Kyle Power, we think's made a pit stop, yeah?
Yeah, he has, yeah.
Yeah, it was an early stop, wasn't it? In fact, wasn't he not first in?
He was the first in, because he had a cold kart, I think, warmed the tyres up. He was behind Jones, didn't have the pace to get past with his cold kart, so then went to the pits.
So the issue there is Jones and Duff pitting, is basically what you're saying, is it?
Yes.
Reference Kyle Power. Now, Kyle Power is 22 seconds back from the leader. Jones is 13 seconds back from the leader, so it would work there. It's going to be a close one with Duff, though. If Duff was to pit now, Kyle Power would find himself alongside Andrew Duff when he came out the pits.
Well, basically,
so that could get very interesting.
Duff's going to deal with any number of the 4 cars that are in that battle that is currently for 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th.
Absolutely, and this is a great showing by Andrew Duff. He is running 4th, but he's under pressure really to set some lap times to draw himself clear of Rob Duma. Now, there is just over 10 seconds in it, or just around 10 seconds in it, so it's possible that he could come out ahead of Duma, but it would be very marginal. Duff needs to set the lap times, and he needs to set them now, because this is getting pretty epic behind him. Puyato all over the back of Duma and the rest of them.
It looks like Puyato is trying to lull Duma into a false sense of security down that back straight, always saying, don't worry, I'm here on the right-hand side, no need to defend, everything's going to be fine.
So it could be said then that Puyato is playing a bit of a sneaky game and, you know, setting him up, is he?
I think he's setting him up, but I think you've got to in this kind of environment. But Duma's not having it at the moment. Duma is defending and staying very far on the left.
Duma runs wide, Puyato alongside, and this is a chance for Steve Gray. He's bumping it, he knows he's going to be out of the competition, so he's going to take some liberties, is Gray. I mean, what are they going to do? Send him home? He's out, unless he wins this thing, he's out of the contest now already. But it is Rob Duma leading, absorbing massive pressure from Duma, and Duma, sorry, not Duma, Puyato absorbing massive pressure from Steve Gray. He's been punted 3 times in the rear there by Steve Gray. Effectively,
though, Steve Gray is out of this battle as well, because he still has to pit again.
Oh yeah, that's the point. He hasn't taken his penalty pit. You don't think he's going to just play the joker and not bother?
Well, no, but I think he knows it's his last race now, so why not run around with these guys? It's possibly what he's thinking.
Absolutely. I mean, he is behind one of the world's best in Opnithi Puyato, highly rated Belgian driver Puyato, and you know, he really will be having his work cut out to stay there. Sean Brierley is continuing to be 3.5 seconds ahead of Vrana, and Jim Lovell is still the fastest on the track. He has the personal best lap time of anyone out there on the track at the moment. The fastest lap in this race. He has the lap record for this race. Andrew Duff, what's happening with him? Is he making the ground he needs to make? No, if anything, he's actually losing time. Duff is on his own, but needs to make up some lap times in order to come out ahead of Duma. As it stands, he's going to be right in the middle of that 4-kart battle, which will turn into a 5-kart battle. Oh,
Puyato.
Puyato has taken the position. Yes, he has, from Duma. Push Duma out the way, and Gray sideways
Oh
around.
no!
Gray gets turned around from Kyle Power. That's the first proper spin we've seen, which requires assistance. They neutralise the race. They're getting Gray underway again. Sean Brierley puts Gray a lap down. Gray is waving. Well, yeah, he's waving at them to hold the flag. Now Derek Jones in the pits. Derek Jones, if you were going to pit, what better time to pit?
That was a really good
yellow there, effectively.
Yeah, I think he's going to come.
The way to do it.
Yeah, he's going to come out ahead of Power now, who's done himself no favours really on the scale of things. It's a tough one. I think Power's probably going to have to share the Lions' share of blame there.
He's not going to have to share any light. He's got all the blame, I think. He turned around. Now here's Jim Lovell, the fastest on the track in this race. Well, and he's come out. What about Andrew Duff? What about Andrew Duff?
Well, Andrew Duff's now in the clear. He's no longer coming out in that. Yeah, he's clear of the 4-man battle because Gray and Power have somewhat ruined that.
Absolutely. Now Jim Lovell has exited the pit lane, and he's got Andrew Duff right behind him. We're looking at Adam Davis, who's teammate to Steve Gray, dealing with that issue. Reference Kyle Power. Now that could be very interesting. Vrana in the pits though. Vrana from second in the pits. Now Vrana needs to get out into clear space. He's going to come out only just in front of Jim Lovell. Jim Lovell can see him. Lovell shaking his head there, but he's got Andrew Duff in tow, and Christophe Verhoeven is trying to close in that pair. This could get very cagey because Vrana has come out of the pits just in front of Jim Lovell, and they're in the Snell section. And that's got Andrew Duff right behind him and Christophe Verhoeven behind them. Into the pits though is Sean Brierley, the leader. Talk us through it, Spanners.
He's still very much going for it. He's out of his seat and he has stopped short of both those markers to try and time it. And time it he has, and he's out well in the clear of Verana.
Yes, he is actually, Spanners. He's got good and clear. Vrana can't really see him, just about maybe. So there's Brierley in the start section. Here comes Vrana, but behind Vrana is Lovell, and behind Lovell is Duff, and behind Duff is Christophe Verhoeven. So this is brewing. There's Vrana, so there's Sean Brierley, and right behind Sean Brierley, we should see into view there, just coming into view behind Brierley, maybe not, he's not close enough. So there's Sean Brierley, the race leader, and the 6 minutes to go, and he's got a 3.3 seconds lead. So there's Brierley at the end of the lap. Here comes Vrana in red. There's Jim Lovell in white, and Jim Lovell is holding a genuine third place here. This is, again, an excellent position for him. So there's Vrana, and there's Lovell. So Brierley, Vrana, Lovell, and here comes Andrew Duff, and then Christophe Verhoeven. This could close in. I wouldn't quite call it a fight for the lead, but it's pretty close, isn't it?
It is pretty close, but it does look like Brierley's dominating again, to be fair. So this will be my second chat with him today. Obviously, I sit and chat to the winners in the pit lane, but a bit of an update on that grey power battle. It looks like Power was given a bad pass board and has had to slow all the way down some 6 seconds to let Steve Gray pass. And now Steve Gray does have to pit again for his penalty, so Power will get ahead, but yeah, suffering the consequences. But in his defence, Gray was held up by that Duma Puyato clashing through the snail section.
Yeah, there's an awful lot of defence there, really, with Gray. You know, here comes Sean Brierley. Here's Matej Vrana. Now, Jim Lovell, I'm sure, is closing in. Jim Lovell is still the fastest in this race. He's got the record lap for this race. There's Matej Vrana. And right behind him in white is South Coast Karting's Jim Lovell, who's closed right in. Pulled away from Andrew Duff. There's Duff in the pits. Andrew Duff, the well-known karting blogger. He's going to be blogging about this one, and we'll see what he says. He's dropped a place, though, to Christophe Verhoeven. It's looking good, though, on... he's taken a chance there, and he's worked well. He even nods his own head as Andrew Duff. So a great show there. A great piece of Andrew Duff. Let's just check the times. Yeah, that is a 10-second job there by Andrew Duff. There is Jim Lovell. Head down, Jim Lovell. He's closing on Vrana. Vrana, the Czech Republic driver. Matej Vrana was champion of the Czech Republic in 2017, the Saudi karts there. And so Vrana, former Czech champion, is being hunted down by South Coast Karting's Jim Lovell. There's Jim Lovell in view in the white suit there. So Brierley leads 3.2 seconds to Vrana, who we saw. But Vrana has got Jim Lovell less than a tenth of a second, less than 1/10 of a second behind him now, I think. No, less than 1 second. It's a bit more than a tenth, but there we are. So there's Vrana and Lovell in the same picture. Vrana and Lovell were there. They had Duff behind them, but Duff pitched out the equation. Who we got next? It'll be Verhoeven, but Verhoeven is something like 2.5 seconds behind them. So there's Brierley on screen. There's Vrana. There's Lovell, and where is Verhoeven? There's Verhoeven just coming into the picture. So Vrana from Lovell, and this is for second place. Less than 1 second in it now. Sean Brierley continues with less than 3.5 minutes. So Sean Brierley, I reckon, has got this sorted. You don't give a driver like Sean Brierley 3.5 seconds and expect him to do anything except win. He has got this one in the bag, Sean Brierley. He does not make the kind of mistake that you'd be making to lose this race now. Sean Brierley's got this one. It's all about Vrana and Lovell behind.
Look at the mega graphics down there with the driver's helmet and everything. Top production there from Scruffy Bear.
Looking good there, and looking good as well is Sean Brierley. He's now onto the backstretch. He's got a good nearly 4 second lead, and Brierley's on his way to victory here. Surely he can't be beaten now. Nearly 2.5 minutes to go, really, because they'll bring the flag out before 0 seconds. There's Vrana and Lovell, but look, Lovell is so much closer now. Lovell is right on the back of Vrana, and Lovell is within striking distance of 10 seconds. So there's Brierley, but look how close second is now. There's Vrana and Lovell, absolutely nose to tail. South Coast Karting's Jim Lovell has drawn right up with the former Czech champion, and really making Matej Vrana work for this.
Now, obviously Lovell would have more of a chance here if they introduced a bridge into the track. He's very much a bridge-based racer, isn't he, for South Coast Karting?
Maybe, but we normally see him on 2 wheels, so if he went up on 2 wheels, maybe he'll get past Vrana down the inside.
Do you know what? I'm getting confused with Hereford.
Ah, yes, absolutely. South Coast Karting down near Bournemouth. I'm sure Ray Lovell down there. He's not here. He's watching on TV at home, and he'll be, maybe he's already thrown something at the telly, I don't know, but he'll be keeping an eye out for Jim there. There's George and Jim racing brothers. This time we've got Jim on track, and he's hunting down Matej Vrana, and Jim clearly is thinking of second place. He's trying one side, he's looking to the outside now, trying to force Vrana over, but Vrana has got it covered. There's Matej Vrana, but it's nose to tail. Nose to tail. The former Czech champion there has been really pressured in second place. 1.5 minutes to go. It's Jim Lovell there we're looking at in the white suit, Matej Vrana in the red. This is the fight on track. Sean Brierley's extended up to a 3 seconds lead, but fast on the track now is Opnithi Puyato, who's in 5th place.
Yeah, and Duff, actually, I think he's done the maximum out of this race, hasn't he?
Yeah, and Lovell moves to the side. Can he make a move? No, he can't. Vrana has him covered, but Lovell definitely was absolutely on the tail of Vrana coming onto that part 8. Vrana forced him to the right, but if he could have drawn like that, they've hit the wall. Lovell could be through. Vrana's hit the wall, but he forces Lovell out. Unlucky for Lovell on the left. If Lovell had been on the right, it would have been game over. But that surely will help Lovell. There's less than a minute to go. They're going to be bringing the checker flag out. Can Lovell get past Vrana? That's the question. Brierley's going to win the race. We accept that. But what about second place? Vrana's waving sorry to Lovell because he knew it was his mistake that nearly made a big incident for them both there. But Lovell trying to the outside again here. Here comes Sean Brierley to win. But what's going to happen second? It's Vrana. It's Lovell. Lovell to the inside. Contact. And Vrana's, they could give it to Verhoeven. Verhoeven 3 wide across the line. Has Lovell done enough? Lovell had to go for it, but it could well have cost him 3rd place. Jim Lovell, he was forced there to make an attempt, but Christophe Verhoeven, you know, when you're dealing with world-class drivers like Verhoeven, any little thing they will jump on, and we saw Verhoeven go between them. What happened there? Verhoeven did get it. Now, we saw Jim Lovell made a move down the inside on Matej Vrana. There was contact, spun Vrana around, but luckily Vrana was pointing up the road. Jim Lovell was forced wide. Verhoeven went between them, and Verhoeven managed to jump Lovell. They crossed the line almost 3 abreast. Certainly Verhoeven and Lovell were side by side, and as it happened, just 200 separate them. But unlucky for Jim Lovell, it was in Verhoeven's favour, and that is what happens when you're dealing with world-class drivers like Christophe Verhoeven. They capitalise on every little thing you do. There's out of the car, there's Opnithi Puyato, the fastest in the race there. Behind is Verhoeven, who got 3rd there, had to go 3 wide. He was the one in the middle, but he made it work. Jim Lovell bundled to 4th. Vrana luckily kept his 2nd place on the last corner there. Amazing. We've got Spanners down the pit lane. Let's see what he has to offer.
Sean first, second time speaking to you today. Oh, hello Pitts, I'm here with Sean Brierley, race winner, fairly comfortable win. Now you got to set your sights on the semi-finals.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I was really happy to have the last heat of the day because I'm now one of the freshest going into the semis, so see how it goes.
And also you've got your eye in as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and as I said before, I love this track, this layout better than the other one, so I'm really looking forward to getting going again.
Fantastic, great race win, good luck in the semi-finals, hopefully be speaking to you more, but we're going to say goodbye to one of the Northerners here, Steve. You've had a great competition, obviously you were mugged by the evil Kyle Power at the end there. Last race, how'd it go? Obviously you had a penalty pit stop as well.
Did I?
Oh yeah, you clicked the yellow on the way through, so...
I didn't even notice that.
Oh, there you go. Have you had a good weekend?
Yeah, it's been fantastic. That's really kind of ruined it, though. I'm very, very gutted about that. But I thought it went green, but apparently not. No, again, it was one of a racing incident, one of those things. But no, very gutted to say the least.
Yeah, but yourself and Adam Davis, you've shown that you boys from up north can have a bit of a race.
We certainly have, and we'll be back next year, same time, same place.
Always great seeing you. Thank you very much, Steve. Let's see if we can get a word with Missed Apex podcast, Kyle Power. There was me bigging you up. It was a little dirty in the end.
Well, I wouldn't say dirty. I'd say it's a consequence of just being bundled up.
Obviously, yeah, Duma and Puyato were having a scrap ahead.
And Puyato went up the inside of Duma. Gray went round the outside, and I just took kind of my normal line. I just went up the inside, and I ended up sort of a third along his car and just turned in. Just one of those things. So race control didn't tell me to give the place back, but I had a guilty conscience, so I gave the place back anyway.
What a melt. How have you finished up in the overall table?
Well, if I could have finished 4th, I think I was on for a guaranteed semi-final, but that's just, that's weed on that bonfire, shall we say. So yeah, it was just cruising round, feeling like a one-legged cat trying to bury a turd on a frozen lake for the rest of it.
I definitely understand that reference. Thank you very much, Kyle Power. Well, that's the end of the heat. It's been absolutely fantastic. Now we're going to add up the totals, see who's through to the semi-finals, and now we're really into the business end of this championship. Stay tuned, come back. 4 races left. That's 3. 4 races left of absolutely cracking action. You don't want to miss it.